Hi, my name is Holly Reid of the Master Playbook, here to equip you with some smart money moves as we tackle one of life's most important skills, money management. First things first, you have to know your numbers. What does that mean? A budget or a spending plan is going to be a key element when it comes to tackling your finances. If you are new to budgeting, if organizing and prioritizing your spending is something that you struggle with, one popular guide is the 50-30-20 rule, where 50% of your income goes towards your needs, 30% goes towards your wants, and 20% is for saving and investing. Let's talk about it. 50%, your needs. This is your rent, your mortgage payment, your insurance, medical prescriptions, food, clothing, all the things you need at a bare minimum to survive. Your wants, this is the category where you're thinking about all the things that make life just a little bit more enjoyable. What are the conveniences in life that you really value? Maybe it's that daily trip to Starbucks. Maybe it's your Netflix subscription or tickets to your favorite concert. Finally, we can't forget about our future selves. So 20% is set aside for saving and investing. Saving for the unexpected, because you never know when that tire might go flat. And investing, where you are constantly thinking about your future self. What are the things you want for yourself? And make sure you're setting aside money to do those things and to live comfortably without worry. Now, this is just a guide. So depending on where you live, you might have to massage these categories just a little bit. So maybe 50% isn't enough to cover your needs. So bump it up to 60, but then reduce the other areas, whether that's your wants or the amount that you save and invest. The goal is to help you organize your money so that it will help you prioritize your spending. Next, let's talk about loans and borrowing money. This is key. We live in a consumer culture that encourages us to have all the things. And so in order to have all the things, sometimes we have to borrow money, whether that's for student loans to pay for our educational expenses, whether that's taking out an auto loan to get a car to get to work every day, or even to take out a loan to purchase a house. The key with borrowing money is that you must honor your obligations. It is a commitment that you make, and these lenders are not going to allow you to just borrow money and not pay it back. With the state of the economy, inflation, and these rising prices, that means your interest rates are also rising. And so the key with borrowing money is you want to make sure that you're not taking on more than you can afford. And you may say, Holly, well, how do I know how much you can afford? That's where going back to step number one, setting a plan, creating a budget is going to help you answer a lot of these questions. Next, let's talk about credit. From big sign-up bonuses to really attractive reward points, credit card companies know exactly what we like, and they use it to their benefit to really influence us to sign our names on the dotted line to increase our purchasing power. So that's one of the benefits about having credit, right? It increases our purchasing power. But you have to use credit responsibly. And the way you're going to use credit responsibly is you have to be honest with yourself. If you know you are a person that likes to spend, if you know you make impulse purchases at the drop of a dime, my recommendation is to limit your credit cards to 1 or 2 major credit cards. I'm talking Visa, MasterCard, Discovery, American Express. Forget about those store credit cards because it only opens up the door for more temptation for you to spend on things that you may not actually need. And using credit responsibly is a big money decision because Big Brother is watching. So just like you got a report card in high school, in grade school, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, they are all keeping a report card on how you are using this credit. And your credit score can range from 300 points, which is poor, all the way up to 850, which sends the message that you are an excellent borrower. This credit report really impacts your money because it tells lenders how risky you are as a borrower. And depending on how risky you are, it will ultimately determine how expensive. It actually determines the interest rate that lenders will give to you. So if you have a lower credit score, your interest rate is going to be higher. It means you're going to pay more to borrow that money compared to if you had a 700 score or anything above 700, 720, then you're probably going to get one of the best rates that the lender can offer you. And so again, that means you spend a little less money borrowing that money. Finally, let's talk about taxes. It's the hallmark of adulting, almost like a rites of passage, because once you start earning your money, you have to pay income taxes. I know I remember that first paycheck shock where I was expecting one number and what I received was significantly less. And so depending on your benefit choices, the allowances, your situation, you can expect your take-home pay to be between 20 and 30% less than the rate that you signed up for when you actually were hired for this role or for a position. The good news is this is nothing to be afraid of. Everyone has to pay taxes. There are hundreds and thousands of pages of tax code, and if you study it long enough, which I never expect you to do, just know the government rewards you for certain behaviors. The government, they want us to be married. They want us to raise children. They want us to own our own business. They want us to save for our retirement. And so there are deductions specifically to reward you for doing so, which will reduce your tax liability. But listen, this is not something you have to be afraid of. This is not something you want to procrastinate on. With the help of tax preparation software, with the help of experts who focus specifically on this topic, you never have to go it alone. Now it's time to take some questions from you.
Hi, so I just graduated from college and I plan to move out of my parents' house as soon as possible. What should my first steps be?
Congratulations for wanting to gain more independence and move out of your parents' house. The very first thing I would recommend is to make a list of all the things you want in your new place. Do you want to move into a house? Do you want to move into an apartment? Will you have roommates or will it just be you? And start making a dream list of all the amenities, all the things that you are looking for, right? The next step, I want you to take a tour. Go to these places, experience them, and start tracking how much it costs. Now, this may be the reality check, right? Where you say, wow, I had no idea that it would cost this much every month in order for me to have and to live the way that I live. So with that new information, you may have to go back and make some adjustments, right? Sacrifice some things in the short term so that you can actually live comfortably within your budget. Finally, once you determine exactly where you want to live, I want you to save at least 3 or 4 months of that rent or mortgage payment. Here's why. Because life happens and we have to plan for the unexpected. Depending on your credit score, some apartments may actually require you to put down a security deposit of 1 month's rent and also pay the current month's rent. So you'll be prepared with that extra money that you need to get your foot in the door and in the place where you see yourself living.
Hey, I'm trying to improve my credit score. When should I use my credit card rather than my debit card?
If you are trying to improve your credit score, you have to know what the credit score is actually calculating. How are they scoring you? And so the components of a credit score, let's start with the larger categories first. The biggest category of your credit score is worth 35%, and it's all around your payment history. All that means is you need to pay on time every time. The next largest category is 30%. This is your credit utilization, or how much credit are you actually using. The guidance for this area is to make sure that whatever your credit limit is, that you are spending less than 30% on that particular card. So as an example, let's say you have a credit card with a credit limit of $1,000. You shouldn't spend more than $300 on that card in order to keep your credit utilization at below that 30% mark. The other categories, 15% is the length of credit. This is answering the question of when did you jump into the credit card game? How long have you had your credit and how long has it been reporting to the major bureaus? 10% is new credit. So how often are you allowing lenders to make a hard inquiry on your credit? The remaining 10% is all about your credit mix. Creditors want to see that you can manage different types of credit, whether that's an auto loan, a mortgage, a personal loan. All of those qualify as different types of credit. But my advice is to focus on those two top categories. They represent 65% of your score. Paying on time and keeping your credit utilization below that 30% of your actual credit limit, and that will help you boost your credit score.
I work for a company, but I'm also an entrepreneur, so how do I file my taxes separately?
And the answer is, it depends. So the IRS has different rules depending on how your business is set up or organized. Whether you're a sole proprietor, whether you have a partnership, whether you're an S Corp or a C Corp, will all determine whether or not you file your personal and business taxes separately or together. Generally, when you are a sole proprietor or if you have a partnership, then those will be filed together with your personal tax returns. But you have to check with your local tax advisor. Thanks for joining Adult Seeking Knowledge. Whether money is your jam or it's something you've been intimidated by in the past, I trust you've heard and learned something that you can put into action today. My name is Holly Reid of the Master Playbook, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at aibtv.com. Follow us at Watch AIB TV on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And subscribe to AIB Studios on YouTube.